Well, from superfortress to stratofortress, some folks call this a buff, big, ugly, fat fellow. Most know it as the B-52, though, an airplane that first saw active service in 1952, yet remains a mainstay of the Air Force fleet even today. Barry Schiff recently had the rare privilege to fly with a young B-52 crew.
President Theodore Roosevelt quoted an African proverb to indicate his philosophy about national security. He famously said, "Walk softly and carry a big stick." One of America's big sticks is the Boeing B-52 Stratofortress, an intercontinental nuclear bomber that also can carry 70,000 pounds of conventional bombs. The B-52 has aero-elastic wings. Look carefully, and you'll see them flex upwards as they begin to develop lift. Notice, too, that the B-52 takes off and climbs in a relatively flat attitude. Mid-air refueling allows the B-52 to fly anywhere in the world, non-stop. Matter of fact, this enabled the B-52 to become the first jet airplane to fly around the world without having to make an en route landing. The B-52 doesn't have thrust reversers, but it does have a drag chute. First of all, Major Hancock and Captain Bias, I want to thank both of you for my flight today in this incredibly fabulous airplane. But I want to point out one thing, that there was thankfully a piece of equipment I didn't need, this air sickness bag. I'll give it back to you. All right. Captain Bias, this was your first flight as aircraft commander of a B-52. You look like a kid, but nevertheless, I was impressed by your abilities. How did it feel to be aircraft commander of this monster for the first time?
I think the most challenging thing for me is working with a crew, I think, because I'm so used to kind of like the single seat mentality and everything like that. And I thought it's a pretty cool airplane in the sense that it's a strategic asset. It's not just like a small, like a fighter or something like that. If you go and fly the B-52, it's like the president knows about it and he knows what's going on with it, and so I think it's an awesome responsibility. And even though I'm a new AC, I still have a whole bunch of stuff to learn, and I'm basically trying to act as a sponge and learn as much as I can from everybody else.
How does it feel, Corey, and you too, Cody, to fly an airplane that it's old enough to be your grandfather, just about, yet it's such an important asset to our military?
The B-52, to me, represents so much of American history. It's been there through so many turbulent times in the country's history, and it's going to be there for quite a long time to come. It's a really neat feeling to be associated with something that's literally shaped the history of the country. I mean, there's arguments out there that this airplane won the Cold War, and I agree with them. And I think that's a really neat thing to be associated with. I love it.
You're both members now of the 20th Bomber Squadron, and I understand that the oldest one, it originated as the 20th Aero Squadron in 1917. Does that kind of heritage, along with the heritage of this airplane, have any significance to you? Or?
We really, in the squadrons like this, we really embrace that heritage, and we love to find the history of old squadrons, and we take a lot of pride in that. Like you mentioned, this is the oldest continuously operating bomb squadron in the Air Force. The long lineage dating all the way back to World War I. That's something that, we love it, and you can see it in the way we dress, our patches. They're all historical. We have scarves. We don't have them on us today, but that trace our lineage back all the way to to that World War I heritage. Especially the new guys, we really try to ingrain that in them, that you are part of something that dates way back and something bigger and something to be really proud of.
My introduction to the B-52 began that morning when we boarded the van that took the flight crew to its assigned airplane. If you're looking for me, I'm the one in the olive drab flight suit. My only regret was that you couldn't join me. Barry Schiff, AOPA Live.